Hey there retro fans, welcome back to RGF Retro Game Force. And today I want to answer a question about Electronic Arts card drives for the Sega Mega Drive. Back then, this was a big question from gamers. What the hell was with these special card drives? So, join me to the history between Sega and Electronic Arts on the 16-bit era. Stay tuned!
To better understand this story, I need to start with the foundations of Electronic Arts. Trip Hawkins, ex-employee of Apple, yes Apple, I know right, had a vision of making a game developer company and he was thinking quite big. So he started recruiting his original employees from Apple, Atari, Xerox and VisiCorp with experience on gaming market. With the team settled, they start to work on some demos and they start developing these impressive demos and they convince a lot of companies to work with them, giving to Electronic Arts the budget to keep going, to keep developing. So in 1982, the year that I was born, Electronic Arts was also born. Since Nintendo had all the gaming market, at least in North America, after the video game crash, EA went to Japan and tried to get a dev kit and license games for the Nintendo Entertainment System, but prices were ridiculous. And this is not my words, were actually the words from one CMO of the company. EA turns their attention then to Europe and computers, Commodore, Amiga and IBM PC, and they started to get a name from themselves and of course making some money and getting some experience. Meanwhile, a company named Sega grabbed the EA attention since their new console, the Mega Drive, was generating a lot of noise in the gaming market, including in North America. So Electronic Arts went to talk with Sega of America president Mike Katz, and they found out that Sega wanted to emulate the Nintendo strategy and that Sega were convinced that they could surpass Nintendo in the North America market. For this amount of money asked by Sega, EA management had no other chance than to step back and think of a way to get better arguments to convince Sega to give them a better business case. But they react fast. EA put their most skillful engineers to try to reverse engineering the Mega Drive, and since they were already experienced with the same CPU for home computers, the results was starting to show quite fast. Meanwhile, they also get their hands on the borrowed dev kit. So, with all this together set up, they could start the development of games for the Mega Drive without Sega. Electronic Arts went then back to Sega and showcased some games. Games like John Madden Football and Populous. Sega was impressed, really impressed with the results, so they accepted to lower down the royalties for EA to license their games to Sega systems. But EA wanted even more. They wanted the possibility of having their own card drive type and to have a different kind of box art on the games. And Sega was so impressed with the demos that EA showed that they actually accepted it. So there you have it, the explanation. Electronic Arts really pushed the 16-bit of Sega console to the limits. We got a lot of classics out of EA. They really know how to program for it, and they had different ways to do it. That's why also the games from Electronic Arts for the Mega Drive look different and feel different. So there it was, a retro story. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you like it, please consider to give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment and a subscription. And until the next video guys, bye bye.